One of the things that happens quite a bit is I'll go into a company and I'll ask them about their competition. And they tell me things like, the competition's dumb, they're not a threat, they're not going to bother us, all of this stuff. And I think, wow, that's kind of arrogant to begin with. And it's almost never correct. Competition is a real thing. You need to respect your competitors and you need to be thinking about what it is that they're doing. Just because you think your competitor is falling behind doesn't mean that that's the reality of the situation. They could be working on something that leapfrogs them well ahead of you. And I've seen that happen too, where they think, oh, they're never going to catch up. Think about all of the companies that were writing Apple off and saying they weren't going to get anywhere. Think of the iPhone as an example. You can find articles all over the place of Nokia, Samsung, LG, Microsoft, all talking about, the iPhone, not a threat at all, not a concern whatsoever. Same with the iPad when it came out, and it changed everything. So big companies, small companies, they do this all the time. They don't look at competition as being the threat that it is. So I have a few points of advice. My initial take on competitors is get to know them. Your competitors, agree that you're competitors and agree that you're going to be decent to each other. What I mean by decent is law-abiding. You're not going to do anything to sabotage each other. You just don't do that stuff. That's just never a way to get ahead. But get to know your competitors. Why? They might someday be the company that acquires you, and you might be the company who wants to acquire them. Now, if you hate each other, that's not going to happen. But that competitor might be important to your strategic vision. And so don't be sitting there talking about how bad they are and talking them down, and do stuff that's smarmy in order to beat them. I'm all in favor of competing in the arena of being a great company in order to beat your competition. But don't sit there and do smarmy stuff to your competitor and then expect to acquire them at some point for some fraction on the dollar. That typically doesn't go well. You end up absorbing people who then come in and undermine your own organization. So why would you do that? So don't think of competition like that. In fact, competition can help you be a stronger company. For one, it's kind of fun to have somebody to compete against in order to improve your own organization. Talk about what the competitor is doing and how you can improve on what it is that they do so that you're even better. And the other thing is that as you're thinking about the company going forward and you're looking at your competitors, often if you develop a friendly relationship with competitors, one of the benefits is that you can share in industry trends. You can talk about stuff and where your industry is going overall. But, hold them with a sense of respect and treat them with respect. And hopefully they do the same thing with you. If they don't, just ignore them. Focus on the things that you need to focus on. Go ahead, but by all means, don't get into this whole nonsense about how dumb your competitor is and how they don't know what they're doing, because I can't tell you how often I've seen that bite companies in the butt. And that's not what you want to have happen. You want to have a situation where you're continuing to grow. If they're competing against you and they're beating you, then that says something about how you're running your own organization, and maybe you need to get your house in order. So it can be a very good milepost for you as to what you should be doing in your organization to improve it. And so I'm always cautious when I walk into a company and they say, competitors aren't a big deal. I want to know who those competitors are, what their strengths are, and how they're going to beat you in the coming years, and what you're going to do to improve as a company. That's where I want to focus my attention. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to follow us and know where we are, you can find us in a bunch of places. We're on middlerock.com, which is our website. Up at the top, you'll see things for upcoming Zoom events that you can participate in. We bring in other speakers and we talk about entrepreneurship. You can also find me on Tom on Entrepreneurship on Quora, as well as Tom Nault on Quora. I also have a personal website, tomnault.com. You can find there, but I don't talk about business as much. So you can find us in all of those different places. And so we hope to hear from you. Write us, let us know what you think. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell when the next one is coming up so that you're notified. And thank you very much for being here.